Hi guys, welcome to Brass Bootcamp. This is going to be the first video where I'm going to be talking about rhythm. With rhythm with playing a brass instrument, your tonguing is also quite important as well. But before we talk about rhythm, we need to talk about metronomes. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a quick, easy way using a Mac or an iPad, how to, one, get a metronome clicking at the right speed, and two, to sort of improve that metronome and make it sound more groovy and just give yourself a more fun experience when you're playing with the metronome. Let's get started. I've opened up GarageBand on my Mac. Same sort of thing applies on the iPad. And I'm just going to click on Empty New Project. So just let me move my head for a second. When you open it up, you'll get this screen. We want to be clicking on the drummer icon and then click on Create. So that'll bring you to this page. So let me move my head back up to the top for a second. It looks quite complicated. Yeah, definitely looks quite complicated. But a few things you need to just have a think about before you start experimenting with these different drum patterns in your metronomes. So if you click on the loop icon up at the top, so I'll click on that, that basically means this region just loops around forever. So once you press play, it'll just keep looping around and then you can play your exercises or your scales or whatever along with it. All of these side panels I'm going to talk to you about in a second. The first one that comes up is this one at the side here. So if I click on that, it disappears. And if I click back on it, it brings it up. So basically, this is lots and lots and lots of preset drum patterns in various different styles. If you click on each of the different styles, it brings up a different load of names or drummers that have sort of put their presets in. So if I clicked on R&B, Benny, so that will automatically change all of the other windows into that various drum beat. And you can do that whilst it's playing. So if I just click on play, and we'll hear what Benny's R&B drum rhythm sounds like. So, nice standard R&B drum beat. And then if I clicked on something else, so hip hop, let's see what Anton sound like. And it automatically changes to that drum beat. So Kyle's rock drum beat sounds like this. So you can switch through these and they're just presets you can use straight away. Also with these presets, it changes the tempo, which might not be the right tempo for the piece you're practicing, or if you're doing some tonguing exercises, you might want to specifically set the tempo to suit your sort of technical ability. This tempo at the top, if you just click on that, double click, and then you can type in whatever tempo you would like. If you wanted it to be 91 beats per minute, click 91, press enter, and then it plays that drum beat at 91 beats per minute. And then if you wanted it 143, you could click on that and press go, and then it increases the drum beat speed. So great little tool just to make, instead of a metronome just clicking at you, you can make it much more interesting just by using these preset drum beats. Let's just go to a nice middle tempo for a start with. Let's do 120, and then I will show you what all the other windows do and how it affects the things. So if I click on this library button at the side, that panel goes away, so there's much more room on the screen. I can move my head down a little bit so you can see some of the other options. So let's talk about these things here in this bottom window. Again, if I wanted to make that bottom window disappear, the little scissor icon is how we get that one back up. So the scissors icon, or you can press E on your keyboard, brings the bottom window up, and then the library tab, if you wanted to change, brings those up too. So now we're on this window. At the side here, there's loads of different presets as well. So if I just click on the go back to the beginning button, the loop icon is still there. If I wanted to change the length of that loop so it repeats a full 8-bar phrase, I can do that too. I'm just going to stick with repeating that first 4 bars. So if I press play, then I can click on these ones. And you can hear, every time I choose one, it changes the drum beat. So I quite like this half pipe one, so I'm going to stick with that. All these rest of the panels are to do with sort of slightly changing or editing whichever one you've picked on this left-hand side here. So I can make it louder, I can make it more complex, or I can make it softer and more simple just by moving that circle around. I'll leave it exactly in the middle. Next we can add some percussion, so I can add some hand claps if I wanted to. and if you slide the slider across, it changes how those hand claps sound. Or I can add a tambourine, and there's 3 different versions of how to do tambourine. That's cool. And then again, you can edit the drums. So this middle one is on the hi-hat. I can change it to tom-toms, or I could change it to cymbals. And again, there's options at the side to change how those patterns fit. And then the bottom one, we've got our snare drum and our bass drum or kick drum. And again, you can change how they sound as well. So have a play around. If you're playing a piece in a nice rock style, you can edit these things and come up with a drum beat you're happy with. And then once you've got a drum beat you're happy with, set it off playing around and round and round. And then you can play your scale exercises with a groovy drum beat rather than a metronome just clicking at you. On metronomes, if you wanted to sort of save your drum beat and change to a metronome, all you need to do is move this little loop part, and then if you move it to a part of the track where there's nothing, then it means that's just going to loop round. So if I press play, nothing's happening. But if I just click on that little metronome icon at the top, you'll have your normal click. So you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you wanted to practice it with the drum beat and then practice it at exactly the same speed just with the metronome click, just moving that little loop icon is how to do that. So if I move that back to the beginning, I can actually leave the metronome clicking whilst the drum beat happens, and that sounds like this. So you can hear the metronomes clicking. I can turn that off just by clicking on the icon. And finally, once you're happy with the drum beat, if I was going to improve my single tonguing, for example, and I was trying to aim at 120 beats per minute, but I could only tongue at 80, I'd set my metronome at 80, and then I can play my tonguing exercises with my instrument. Ta 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 ta. Once I'm happy with that speed, I could increase it to 90, and then do the same thing. Ta 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 ta, and then work my way up to say 120 beats per minute, doing that same tonguing exercise. Ta 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 ta. So that's just a quick way using GarageBand how you can sort of improve your metronome, make it slightly more interesting. So especially for younger players who hate just having the boring tick of the metronome, adding a nice little groovy drum beat to your practice, especially when you're doing your scales, technical exercises, breathing exercises, lip slur exercises, adding a little drum beat will help your rhythm, and it will also sort of make your practice session a little bit more groovy sounding. So just one more note on these drum patterns. This bit here, you can change your time signature. So if you're playing a exercise in 3/4, you can change it. If you're playing an exercise in 6/8, you can also change that as well. All these drum beats, you can choose your time signature, you can choose your tempo, you can change the length of the repeated strain, you can add the metronome in and out as well. One last thing to add to this is choose the drum beat that fits with the piece that you're playing. If you're playing a rock piece, then choose one of the rock drum patterns. If you're playing a Latin American piece, try choosing one of the drum beats that has a lot of added percussion and fits in that with that nice Latin American style. If you're playing a slow piece, a nice smooth piece, pick a drum pattern that fits with the style of the piece that you're playing. There's virtually infinite amount of drum beats, everything you can look through. You can edit all the presets. You can come up really creative with a nice drum pattern that fits with whatever piece you're playing. So I hope this has all made sense. The interface on the iPad is very similar. It's all touch screen, so it's nice and easy. Press play. The loop function's already automatically built into the iPad version, so you don't have to worry about the moving the loop part, dragging it around and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So stay tuned for the rest of the series. It's all talking about rhythm and how to count rhythms, how to play rhythms. You can't have a rhythm without a nice steady pulse, which is what the metronomes do, isn't it? And adding in the drum beat just makes your metronome so much more interesting, so much easier, and it helps you play in the right style as well. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon.